light on this and the history, connecting it with the history in between these two countries. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now, Russia says it will not take part in upcoming talks on Ukraine set to be held in Turkey. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has said that the discussions are happening without Moscow's involvement, and Russia will wait to hear what is actually discussed after. He added that President Vladimir Putin is open to follow-up conversations if Turkish or U.S. officials decide to brief Moscow afterwards. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has arrived in Turkey now as part of a renewed push to revive peace talks with Russia. Speaking earlier in Spain, Zelensky said he will meet with President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to explore every possible way to secure what he called a just peace for Ukraine. Let's in fact listen into what the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has shared.
Зустріч з президентом Ердоганом передусім. Ми будемо говорити з ним про максимальні можливості, як зробити так, щоб Україна отримала справедливий мир. І це, я думаю, це достатньо буде бесіда предметна, може довга, може не дуже довго. Подивимось, у мене хороші відносини з президентом Туреччини. Будемо говорити, маємо якісь позиції і сигнали від Сполучених Штатів. Подивимось завтра.
There have been no direct talks between Kyiv and Moscow since negotiations in Istanbul back in July. A Turkish source has said that U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff was also expected in Turkey, but another official clarified that Erdogan's meeting will be only with Zelensky in Ankara. The visit marks a fresh attempt to restart diplomacy amid the ongoing war. Now we welcome back retired Major General Dr. Rajan Kochhar. He's a senior strategic and international affairs expert, joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much, Major General and Doctor, for staying with us. Now, what are we to make of this move by Russia? What leverage, if any, does Russia gain by refusing to participate in the Turkey-hosted talks, while remaining open to post-discussion briefings? What are we to make of this?
A very good question, Subha, because it's very relevant to the present situation, what you have actually asked me. The first important aspect is to understand that Zelensky has its back to the wall today. The thrust lines of the Russian army and the armed forces and the inroads it is making into Ukraine and the kind of a mass usage, a swarm drones concept is being employed, missiles are being used, energy infrastructure is being targeted, winter is approaching, the people are going to protest, and they're going to ask Zelensky, what are you doing to stop the war? So I think from that context, Zelensky is desperate, and he is moving to Istanbul and other areas in Turkey to try to get public attention to the problems Ukraine is facing. He is also facing a problem with regard to his prisoners of war, which the Russians have taken, and he wants to show some progress, at least that at least he is getting back his prisoners of war. Why Russia is not coming on the table, that's also a very interesting question, because Russia has certain red lines which Zelensky is not accepting. The red lines of Russia is that we are not going to give you back our territory, which we have captured, because especially the Donbass area, Donetsk area, Luhansk area, Zaporozhye, Kherson, all these areas are very important to Russia for holding for posterity, and therefore they become non-negotiable. Zelensky has been, has a stated stand that he will not accept loss of territory. So I think when two parties are at variance to their thoughts. And you see, unfortunately, Trump is also sidelined himself from this discussion. I don't see much statements from Trump coming in support of Zelensky, and also he has expressed his apprehension on the stand, on the rigid stand which has been taken by Putin. So, considering these facts, and that Zelensky is also asking for enhanced air defense cover, he is asking for the European Union as well as NATO to help him out, but not much help is forthcoming. So I visualize that Zelensky has gone for this talks to build up international pressure, or to send a message to Donald Trump to mediate, because he is desperate for mediation. At the same time, he doesn't want to relent on his sovereignty issues, that is the loss of territory. And Russia is sensing an opportunity now. You see how the Russians have planned their offensive in the last 2 months. Russia is sensing an opportunity that Ukraine is weakening. The morale of the Ukrainian army is coming down, and this is the best opportunity to make ingress into Ukraine to capture more territory. So it's a culmination of these two effects: the Russian thought and the Ukrainian or the Zelensky thought, and therefore I feel that Russia is not attending here, because Russia does not want at this point of time a ceasefire,
Right. Yes.
which Ukraine is desperate for a ceasefire. So I think unless Donald Trump intervenes for a meaningful discussion, I don't think the Russians will come on the table.
Right. Thank you, Major General Doctor, for sharing not just Russia's perspective, but also Ukraine's perspective on this. Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing that insight throughout our news. That's all we have time for. Keep watching NewsX World for more news updates from around the world.